Now let's start with 6. We'll work our way back to 1, and then we'll come back to 7, okay? So 6. How many parts are in this whole thing?
8.
So what is our denominator?
8.
8. How many parts did we shade?
3.
3. So when we use a shaded model like that to name a fraction, we have to first figure out how many parts are in the whole thing, right? And then how many parts are shaded. All right, I need to X out of that to slide up. Okay, so the model below shows 1/4 of a rectangle. You drew 3 more fourths to make it a complete, so that it was a whole thing. So you drew how many more of these squares?
3.
So now, are there 4 equal parts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what our denominator tells us, isn't it? That there should be 4 equal parts. How many did you need to shade?
2.
2 of the 4, right? So 1, 2. So that is 2/4 of it is shaded. How'd you do on that? Okay, let's look at 4. 1/3 of a square. So we had to draw to show the whole square. This is saying there are 3 equal parts in the whole thing. Right now there's only 1 of those 3, right? So we had to draw how many more? 2 more to make it a square. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. Now how many do we shade in?
2.
2/3. So we shaded in 1, 2 of them. You might have done them from the bottom up. That's fine too. How many equal parts do you have in yours? Okay, flip it over. Let's look at 1, 2, and 3. That's what I need. All right. Did we do 1 together? Or you did it on your own, I think, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
What is the unit fraction that's being shown in that square? How many equal parts are there?
4.
And how many are shaded?
1.
So the fraction is 1/4. How many parts did you have to shade?
2.
2. Could you have shaded the top 2?
Mm-hmm.
Could you have shaded the left 2 here?
Yep.
Does it matter?
No.
No, I'm going to shade these since I put a dot there. What fraction of the square did you shade then?
2/4.
How many parts did you shade?
2.
And how many parts are in the whole thing?
4.
So the fraction is
2.
2/4. That means you shaded in 2 of the 4. 2/4. How many parts are in this wheel here?
8.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I didn't trust you. I believe you now. So is that 8 our numerator or our denominator?
Denominator.
It's our denominator because that tells us how many parts are in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many of those are shaded?
1.
So what does this fraction read as? 1/8. Okay, over here. Shade how many parts?
6.
6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What would the fraction be for what we just shaded? Raylin? What's the fraction? The numerator and the denominator. But you have to say it correctly. So if you're not sure how to say it, what should you write first?
8.
The denominator. And how many did you color in?
6.
So that would be read as 6/8. You always say the top number first in a fraction. Which number do you always say first?
The top.
And what is that top number called?
Numerator.
The numerator. The denominator tells us what?
How many in the whole
How many parts in the whole thing? All right, look at 3, A. How many parts are in the whole thing?
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, numerator or denominator?
Denominator.
The parts in the whole thing, that's our denominator. How many parts are shaded?
4.
So how would we read that fraction? 4/6. Let's look at this one. How many parts in the whole thing?
8.
There's 4 on top, 4 on the bottom, so that is 8. How many are shaded?
5.
So we would read that fraction as 5/8. Okay. Okay, we're going back to the other side again because we're going to talk about 7. All right, so if we look at this rectangle, it asks us in part A, what unit fraction is each part? What that means is, think about it like this, friends. Let me get a writing utensil going here. How many equal parts are there?
8.
2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so each unit, friends, this is 1 unit. This is 1 unit. This is 1 unit. Do you see what I'm talking about for the units?
Yeah.
So this would be 1/8. This is 1/8. 1/8. 1/8. What's this going to be?
5.
No. If this is 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8,
1/8.
1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. Because each one of those is its own unit. How many units are there altogether? 8. There are 8 in the whole thing, right? So what unit fraction is each part? 1/8. Aren't you glad we did this one together? Okay, so now it says I'm going to erase this. It says, read it with me. Shade 4 parts of the rectangle and write the fraction you shaded. Let's do that right now. How many parts do we shade?
4.
Does it matter which 4 you shade in? Then what do you need to do? Write the fraction to show what you just did on that. So how many parts are in the whole thing?
4.
No. No, how many parts are in the whole thing?
8.
8. And that's always our denominator. How many did you shade in? 4. That's our numerator. 4 eighths. How do we say this again?
4 8.
4 eighths. Everybody have it? Okay. All right. Here's what I'm going to have you do. You're going to leave out page 465 on your desk